Hey folks, it's Tom, your Frugal Prepper. I'm out here in the garage real quick tonight with the Mopar car of shame. This is my wife's PT Cruiser, 2003. Low mileage, it's got like 57,000 original miles on it now. But it's got another oil leak. I fixed a few oil leaks on this thing in the past. But this one's in a new spot. Kind of interesting, you'd almost miss it and maybe think it was a valve cover. So I figured I'll bring you along for the repair. Alright, so what I'm going to try to show you here is all down beside here is oily. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see that on camera, but there's oil going clear down beside this head, and it's leaking clear down in here, clear down to the transmission back there. And it's using about 3/4 to a full quart between oil changes that it's losing. So it's coming right down here off the side of this valve cover, and if you look close, this is wet and it's dripping out right in here by this PCV valve. And then there's more oil back in here on top of the valve cover, if you can see where that's wet, and that's actually coming from where this PVC hose hooks up at right here, and it's dripping straight down. It's coming from right back there where that's wet, and it's dripping straight down here on this valve cover and running down the back of the motor. So what's going on here is that PCV valve's leaking, and then the hoses are also not tight, and it may be leaking where it's threaded in as well, because there's supposed to be some Teflon tape on there, and it doesn't look like there's much tape left in there. And then this hose is also bad and loose. Let me show you. So this hose just doesn't stay on here very well, and that's all bad and loose, and there's just oil in it right there. You can see the oil on my finger from that hose, and it's the same back up here. Let me get this off. It's loose, but it's got a sizable barb on it, so it don't want to come off really easy. But you see how oily that is, and there's just oil dripping out. So there's oil blown by this PCV valve. I think it's leaking right here as well, where it seals into the valve cover, and the hose is loose, and so that's letting the oil drip back out. So what we're going to do is go ahead and remove this PCV valve and replace this hose. Alright, so I got an air filter for it. I just went ahead and picked up a genuine Mopar air filter, and I got a genuine Mopar PCV valve because it's not that much more than buying one at AutoZone. However, the dealership said the hose is no longer available, believe it or not. So unfortunately I had to go Dorman. We'll hope it works out. It's definitely in much better shape than the old one was. So this is a pretty simple repair. If you've got an oil leak going on a PT Cruiser, you may just want to check this PCV valve first. Alright, so I grabbed me a crescent wrench that'll fit on this, and it just screws out. Pretty straightforward. The book says like, oh, torque this to 70 inch-pounds or something. Well, there's no way without taking the breather box out that you can get a socket that's deep enough to go over it there to torque it, so I'm just going to put it in there nice and snug. Oh, that light, I'll tell you. falls over and shines right in your eyes. All the right light in all the wrong places. That's what I always say. I'm blind. Thank you, Harbor Freight Light. I'm blind now. Oh, there goes my Swiss Army knife. Don't want to lose that. It's got my flash drive in it. Right there. Check that bad boy out. It rattles some, but it's not real great. It's kind of bad. And it's not sealing real tight either when I blow through it. Let's see what the brand new Mopar one is like. Let's see where this is made. Made in the United States. Sweet bonus. Well, that rattles about the same. It's a little bit cleaner. It seals about the same to me. I don't know. So what I'm just going to go ahead and do is just, the book says to use some Mopar. The book says use some Mopar Teflon tape on it. Since I don't have any genuine Mopar Teflon tape, we're just going to wrap this sucker up right here with some regular Harbor Freight Teflon tape. Just to wrap it up all the way to the chamfer in the book. Alright. We're just going to go ahead and screw that back in place. Alright, so, I did a video on why I don't buy really expensive tools and how you can get by with cheaper tools. Invest in a good set of crescent wrenches, man, because these loose ones really get annoying. I can't say, maybe you should get a set of like Mac or Matco crescent wrenches. I still wouldn't spend the money on those snap-on ones. Or if I just had a 24mm wrench, I'd be set. That's what this is. But I only go up to 22 on my wrenches. I guess we're just going to tighten it in here till she bottoms out. I think that's about it. It's bottomed out. It's plastic. I don't want to overdo it. So I'm going to open up our Dorman hose. Let's compare it to the old one. About the same, but you can definitely see how much wider the old hose is compared to the new one there. So check that out. And let's see if it'll fit. I think it's going to go on back here first. Try to snap the plastic intake off. Yeah, let me get some brake clean. Nothing helps a rubber hose slide on better than brake clean does. Usually. This hose is pretty tight. But it's probably supposed to fit tight. Of course it is dormant, so who knows. Oh, come on. there she goes. I finally got her started. I will push her back on there. Maybe. She's tight. There, it's on there. Now we're going to see if we can twist it around. Alright, I'll just get her on this end now. If it's on the PVC, then great. Alright, there we go. That's on there. Hopefully that will stop our oil leak. We'll see. It definitely fits a lot tighter, especially back here on the intake. Alright, let's get this air filter out while we're under here. Yeah, definitely looking like it was time there. This back on. And we'll go ahead and check the oil here. She's not leaking much, but enough to make a mess. But she's at the max level right now. Of course, I topped it off a couple weeks ago, so. Alright. So, I've had a few unbelievers before when I've talked about this car. So, let's see if we can see here. Manufactured. Where's the date? It's an 03, I know that right there. So it's an 03, as you can see. Right there. And I'll show you the odometer is indeed. So as you can see, there we go. So you can see the odometer on this guy is 57,493 original miles. Okay folks, so that's how we put a PCV valve and a hose on a PT Cruiser. Like I said, the dealer said they don't have the hose available anymore, even though they made these cars up through like 2014 or something, I think. Maybe 13. 13 would be a good year to leave off on this piece of crap car, I'm telling you. It is an unlucky car. This thing's had a head gasket. That right after the head gasket was all done. Well, and the head was remachined. It had bad valves and everything. Then, you know, we put a timing belt and everything on it then too, of course. And we put a water pump on it while we were there. And then the oil pressure switch started leaking. Then the valve cover gasket leaked. Then the radiator plugged up. That's all common failures on this car. There's a lot of pattern failures, and none of them are easy or cheap. except for maybe this one. I don't know. But if you got a little bit of an oil leak going on in your PT Cruiser, this is dripping down the back of the motor and the side, and it's blowing onto the exhaust when you drive, and you smell little whiffs of oil burning. Check your PCV valve and hose and see if you got any leaks there, because that's a pretty quick, cheap, and easy fix. I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your frugal prepper. Everybody, be happy, be frugal out there.